Hey, it's Mr. R, and today we are going to do a little bit of reading and take some notes in science about cells. And just like any time when we read, please make sure that you have a pencil in your hand so you can jot down any notes or questions or any thoughts that come to mind. So the title is Unicellular and Multicellular Organisms, and that already starts off with a little bit of vocabulary that seems a bit intimidating, but you'll get used to it as we go. Getting the idea. Plants and animals are made up of millions of tiny parts called cells. Many other living things are made up of only one cell, which that triggers something in my brain now. Okay, so some living things only have one cell, while others have millions of cells. Yet both types of living things carry out all the basic processes of life. And my brain is wondering, what are the processes of life? What does the author mean by that? Hopefully the author will answer our questions as we read. Got a subtitle here for cells. Everything underneath this will be about cells. Cells are the basic building blocks of all living things or organisms. That's the second time we've seen the word organisms. So an organism is a living thing, and cells are the building blocks. And that kind of makes me think of Legos. A cell is the smallest part of a living thing that can carry out all the processes of life. Okay, so again, they're telling me about a cell, that it's the smallest part of a living thing or an organism. For example, cells take in nutrients, the materials they need to live and grow. They also get rid of waste, materials they cannot use. Most cells are too small to be seen without a microscope. And the word that jumps to mind for me there is, if they cannot be seen without a microscope, that means they are microscopic. You can observe the shapes of some plant cells through a hand lens. My brain's wondering, I got another question. What is a hand lens? But you cannot see the tiny structures or parts inside each cell. Scientists learned about cells after microscopes were invented. They learned that cells contain even tinier structures. These tiny structures perform different jobs or functions to keep the cells alive. So far, the author didn't really answer our question on what the basic processes of life are exactly. And that's okay. Sometimes the author will answer our questions, sometimes they won't. Sometimes a question might jump in your brain when you're reading that maybe the author doesn't want to discuss right here. So maybe the author didn't want to explain what a hand lens was. Maybe they think you already know. What I want to do now is we're going to pause. I'll do a different video to continue reading here. But for today, I want to focus just on cells. So I need you to please get out a notebook and open to your first clean page in that notebook. And we're going to take some notes on cells. So in your notebook, what I would like for you to do is in the middle of the page, draw this oval here and write in cells. And then draw these lines and that should split your page into 4 sections. We're going to have 4 little pieces of information about cells that we're going to jot down from the notes and the underlining we were doing. Do not worry about this picture with the microscope just yet. We'll draw one in a second, but I'll walk you through how to do that. I'm going to jump back to my notes and show you how I'm going to use the notes that I took here and put them in the notebook. So we learned that cells are the basic building blocks of all living things, which means that all living things or organisms have cells. That's the first thing I'm going to put, is all organisms have cells. And I want to use that vocabulary word. So all organisms. And if I'm moving too fast in this video for you when I start to draw some of my pictures and show off my fantastic artwork, just press pause. Just pause the video. So all organisms. So that means humans. Like I said, I am a fantastic artist. Humans have cells. So do plants. So I'm going to draw a tree. See, artwork like this is why I have my own artwork Instagram page. Then I'm going to draw a cow. And to draw a cow, you kind of draw like a piece of bread. Okay, put like sort of like a triangle there, and then a bit of a mohawk type deal. And then we'll put the oval, squiggle, and some squiggles, some legs, draw hooves. So all organisms have cells. We've got this microscope here. I'm going to go back. They're microscopic. So most cells are too small to be seen without a microscope. So that tells me that they are incredibly small. And then I'm going to draw this microscope here. So we've got the base of it. Kind of curves in here. And then we've got this platform. This piece curves out. We've got little knobs here. Okay, so cells, all organisms have cells. Cells are incredibly small. Oh, I clicked the wrong button. Okay, and then on these bottom parts, we learned some other things about cells. We learned that cells are the basic building blocks of life. And that made me think of Legos, and that's exactly what we're going to draw. Cells are the building blocks of life, and then I'm going to draw a big old Lego. And another bit of information you're going to need to know about cells is that they take in nutrients and get rid of wastes. Okay, so for nutrition, you can get nutrients from the sun. Let's switch colors here. Water. And definitely you can get nutrition from food. I'm going to draw a slice of pizza here. Pepperoni. I'll leave the pineapple off for right now. So cells get nutrition and they get rid of waste. Get rid of waste. We actually get to draw a little emoji here. And if you want to color your notes with some of your crayons or colored pencils, you absolutely can. Let's see. Use some brownish color here for this emoji since they get rid of waste. And the waste that the human body makes. So we read about cells and we took the notes that you need to know about cells in this video.